welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight's presentation of the Bolt Racing League Pre-Legend Series. We're live here on the Capital Racing Network with a good look at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is the 2008 scan, the old bumpy Atlanta we used to know and love. These drivers here tonight will be putting every inch of this surface to work, trying to sort out the pecking order early on in this season. This being only the second race of the season, and the first not out of Super Speedway. Gonna be very fun to watch here tonight. See how everything stacks up when we hit the end of the race. As we roll on to qualifying here. Got a pretty solid field of guys out here tonight. A lot of new faces. We'll have to see how they stack up in our field tonight. First look here at Aaron Lester here in the number 86 car. He's out for his two-timed laps here in qualifying. Aaron Lester starts lap number 1. We'll see a lot of these guys trying different things here in qualifying. A couple of guys might be looking for the top. Some might be looking at the bottom. We'll have to see what ends up being the way to go here. That being for a fast lap anyway. I think a lot of guys might opt to run the bottom here, especially early on in the race, just to try to save some tires. But for qualifying, so far, Martin Roberg on top. We're going to look here at Carson Lucas in the 81 on his lap. Now Blaine Snyder takes a top spot in the 88. These guys up front separated by less than a tenth, top 4. Aaron Lester jumps up to 5th, and Peyton Snyder jumps up to the top of the board. Lane Myers out here, the number 28 Coors Light car. Kind of like a little combo of the Gray Ghost and the Silver Bullet there on that machine. And he'll jump up to the 8th place spot. Now we're looking here at the 45 is Sam Dooley. I believe he's on his second timed lap. As he does so, he jumps up to 7th on that last lap. Jimmy Mensch just here completing his second lap in the number 94. He jumps up to the 5th place spot. Ooh, and just barely grabs the wall there on exit of 2. But that'll be his 2 laps done. Rodney Eyre is out now in the number 17 car. He jumps up the 6th place spot. We have the 15 of Brett Accord sitting on pit road. Time's ticking. Might not have enough time to be able to go out and set their 2 timed laps, but we'll have to see. Just over a minute remaining in qualifying. But so far, the two Snyders seeming to have the magic have wow, words are hard. The two Snyders seeming to have this place figured out. Front row in qualifying. Oh, and that's from practice. Apologies for that. But qualifying just starting to wrap up now. Peyton Snyder, your pole sitter for tonight's race. Blaine Snyder in the 88 to their outside. Row number 2 will be the number 38 of Martin Roberg. And to his outside will be the number 12 of Scott McCann. Row number 3 will be the number 94 of Jimmy Mensch. And to his outside will be the number 17 of Rodney Ayers. Row number 4 will be the 86 of Aaron Lester. To his outside, the 35 of Casey Ellis. Row number 5 will have the 45 of Sam Dooley, and to his outside will be the 81 of Carson Lucas. Row number 6 will be the 28 of Lane Myers, pace truck. And to his outside will be the number 05 of Tristan Bear. Row number 7 will be the 14 of Chris Chimopoulos, and to his outside, the 57 of Christopher Mixon. Row number 8 will be the number 420 of Chris Chimopoulos, and to his outside will be the number 13 of Brian Hotham. Row number 9 will have the number 15, of Brett Accord, and to his outside the number 2 of Christopher Perez. And rounding out the field tonight is the number 71 of Dom Salvo. Good field of cars here tonight. Just waiting on a couple more to grid up here before we roll on into tonight's race. Solid field here tonight. First intermediate of the season is always something folks anticipate, especially here at old bumpy Daytona, Atlanta. Excuse me. Here at old bumpy Atlanta, this is especially a fan favorite on the surface. Going to be really excited to see how this one shakes out here tonight. But Peyton Snyder in the 42 and Blaine Snyder in the 88 going to be leading the way here as we get going green. As they approach the Geico restart zone, green flag is out. And we're rolling here at Old Atlanta Motor Speedway. '42 seems to get a little bit of an early jump there on the 88. Still side by side though. Field makes their way through turns 1 and 2 cleanly. Still side by side up there at the front for your race lead. Oh, close racing there, side by side for your race lead. Martin Roberg peeks down to the bottom, almost looked to make it 3 wide, getting into turn number 1, but doesn't quite. Still a little early for those kind of moves. Scott McCann starting to make the outside line work, and the number 12 there. He jumps up to the second spot there on lap number 2. All these cars fanning out, using every inch of this old Atlanta bumpy surface. Tristan Bear there on the fringe of the top 5, looking at the top line. Ahead of him, Carson Lucas in 81 doing the same, at least through 3 and 4 that time by. As we say that, Scott McCann up here at the 12, looking at the outside of Blaine Snyder for your race lead. Blaine shuts the door that time, though. As a reminder, here in the Pre-Legend Series, we do have a competition caution at the halfway mark, just like the ARCA Series in the real world. So 42 coming to 43, we will see a yellow flag. But until then, it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys are able to manage their tires, and doesn't look like Scott McCann's going to be saving much here as he goes for the race lead. Still side by side there. Blaine Snyder led at the stripe that time by. Still nose and tail up front. Back here in the back hole, the 42 of Peyton Snyder getting a little sideways there. Tristan Bear now up into the top 5. Just behind them, we have Jimmy Mensch, Rodney Ayers, and Lane Myers. They're battling for, I believe that's 8th on back. Clean and green early on in this one. Aaron Lester side by side there with the 45 of Sam Dooley. He'll take that spot. As we focus our attention back up front, Martin Roberg took over the second spot while we were looking back through the field. A lot of these guys early on in this one seeming to be prioritizing wrapping that line, trying to save a little tire. Going to be interesting to see how that plays out late in the run in this one. But good battles all throughout the field here. Carson Lucas not giving up on that top line, though. It has been working to some success. He's come from a little ways back. Up now fighting with Peyton Snyder for your 4th place spot. Back up front, things are getting pretty tight. 88 still showing the way. Blaine Snyder there. But nose and tail 1, 2, and 3. Martin Roberg in the 37, looking at the top line. Ooh, little contact with the wall. That's not going to help his odds in this one. Might be a little damage to that right front after that wall contact there. We'll have to wait and see. As of now, though, he does give up that 3rd spot. Looks like 4th and maybe some more. Oh, as Lucas overdrives the corner a little bit there. Washed out almost to the wall. And he'll give up a heap of positions. Side by side, though, for your 5th place spot. Lane Myers, Peyton Snyder, side by side. Tristan Bear, though, up to 4th. Now Martin Roberg gets back by the 12 of Scott McCann for your 2nd spot. Blaine Snyder starting to pull a little bit of a gap. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Tristan Bear now looking to the inside of Scott McCann. And Peyton Snyder pushes McCann through there. For all these guys under a blanket. Casey Ellis, Jimmy Mensch, and Rodney Ayers, and the one behind them also right there in contention. Looking at these battles up here from 5th on back, thinking they want a piece. Jimmy Mensch up to the 7th spot early on in this one. Tristan Bear and Lane Myers were nearly side by side off corner that time. Snyder finds his way back up to the 3rd place spot. Still tight and right there with Mark Robert and Blaine Snyder. Battle for 6th on back. Scott McCann has it. Starting to look like Jimmy Mensch and Rodney Ayers are going to start wanting it. Tristan Bear starting to get separated from that front 3, but as we talk about that front 3, that battle's starting to heat up. Peyton Snyder looks to the inside of Martin Roberg in 1 and 2. Not able to complete the pass there. Martin Roberg saw that a little bit of impatience from the 42 and started thinking, Roberg, sorry. Martin Roberg there must be thinking time to go. So he looks to the inside there of the 88 of Blaine Snyder. Not able to complete the pass this time. Still top three, nose to tail. Roberg drives down to the bottom, side by side for your race lead. Ooh, Blaine Snyder got the wall a little bit there, but still has a drive off the corner to clear Mark Roberg. You know, Roberg has Peyton Snyder to his outside. Peyton gets that spot done and says, I ain't done, I want some more. Looks at the bottom of Blaine Snyder for your race lead. Side by side off of 4. Blaine Snyder will hold that spot this time. But all these battles up front have allowed those cars third on back to start closing up a little bit more. Tristan Bear, Scott McCann, and more back in the picture. Blaine Snyder clears that time. Mark Roberg looks to the inside there on Peyton Snyder. Has that spot momentarily, but Snyder going to have the run off the corner on the top side. Now Tristan Bear looks to capitalize. He also goes by the 37. Now shoots down to the bottom, looking to the bottom of the 42 of Peyton Snyder, excuse me. Not able to complete the pass. Ooh, really sideways there for the 0-5. That allows a 12 with Scott McCann to get to his outside. Tristan Bear with a power move up to third. Either that or McCann might have had a little bit of an issue there in the center of the corner. So he gives up a handful of spots there. Couple guys with a little bit of contact with the wall there off of turn number 4. Intensity starting to ramp up as there's only about 10, 12 or so laps to go until we get to that halfway break. Roberg clears, but Bear looks back down to the bottom of the number 37 of Martin Roberg. Not able to clear. Side by side for third off the corner. That's going to be tight. 3 wide as Lane Myers looked down to the bottom and got by both of them 2 for 1. And Rodney Ayers trying to follow him on the bottom and looks to do the same. But up front, a lot of these guys switching to the top line. A lot more momentum up there and a little bit easier to defend your spot. Martin Roberg looks down to the bottom on Lane Myers. Side by side for third. Whoa, real sideways off of 4 there. Myers holds us on to that spot for now. Nose to tail here. Your entire top 5 all in one shot. Lane Snyder in the 88 still showing the way out front, but the 42, Peyton Snyder, still hot on his heels. 28, Elaine Myers, after coming from pretty far back, up to 3rd. Oh, and we have one slow on the front stretch. Chris Chimopoulos with some kind of issue, I believe. He gets back up to speed now. As we look back up to the front, Lane Myers looking to the bottom of Peyton Snyder. These guys up here know that halfway caution's coming soon. They're going to be wanting to get every spot they can here before that. Martin Roberg looked down to the bottom on Lane Snyder there. And as Peyton Snyder looks down to the bottom of the 88, and he gets that spot. 88 losing wholesale spots here. 3 wide for 3rd, heading into turn number 1. Snyder goes from 1st to 5th, all in the span of 1 straightaway. But Peyton Snyder now up front, leading the way in 42. Oh, and Lane Myers gets hooked into the wall. Contact with the 88 of Blaine Snyder, and that's going to bring out our caution. Huge damage for the 28 of Lane Myers. Heavy, heavy impact coming out of 2, excuse me. Might have been a little bit of netcode. We'll have to look back and see. But either way, Lane Myers gonna have to make repairs to that machine. And we'll see if we can find a better camera angle of that one. Just gets a little sideways right in front of the 88. That'll definitely hamper Lane Myers' day. Pit road open. A lot of the field looking like they're hitting it here. 42, 37, 17, 88. Looks like everybody except for possibly Jimmy Mensch. And indeed, Jimmy Mensch staying out. Rodney Ayers away with the jump, and he'll win the race off pit road. Ahead of Peyton Snyder, Blaine Snyder, Christopher Perez, who jumps up to 5th. 35 of Casey Ellis, 6th. 12 of Scott McCann, 7th. 15 of Brett Accord, 8th. 45 of Sam Dooley, 9th. And Brian Hotham in 10th. But once again, Jimmy Mensch opting to stay out. It's a bold strategy, but The one thing he does have going for him here is I don't think this will count as our halfway caution. So we are guaranteed to have another caution here, I believe, in just a couple short laps. As the driver's got the 1 to go signal there, they'll form up double file. And Jimmy Mensch will be restarting this race on 39 lap old tires. Once again, he might be trying to play the tire game here if he's able to hold on for these next couple laps. We got the halfway break caution just coming up after this. So he may be able to jump onto fresh tires and storm up through the field in the second half of this race. Tristan Bear, though, looks like Tristan Bear had a little bit of a moment on pit road, as he gets all the way back to 15th. Unfortunate for him, but we'll look back up front as the 94, Jimmy Mensch, getting ready to fire in the restart zone here on some real old tires. He gets a clean jump, though. Green flag back in the air. We should see a 3-lap dash here before the halfway caution. Rodney Ayers goes around the top, and Peyton Snyder looks to the bottom, 3 wide into 3. Jimmy Mensch dropping like a rock. Blaine Snyder looks to the inside of Rodney Ayers, looking to reclaim that lead he lost just before our last caution. 3 wide for your race lead. Scott McCann goes around the top of both of them. 3 wide again, still off of turn number 2, as Scott McCann takes that race lead. Rodney Ayers still to the inside. Side by side, still for your race lead off of turn number 4. Scott McCann led the way that time by. He clears the 17. Scott McCann at the 12, your new race leader, as we have a caution. And I believe that is for your halfway break. Indeed it is. Jimmy Mensch falling all the way back to 15th. But I think he was planning to pit here anyway. But Scott McCann taking the lead away from Rodney Ayers and Blaine Snyder. The bold 3-wide move around the top. We'll have to see now, just a couple laps on these guys' tires. Do they opt to pit? Seeing as this may go green the rest of the way, looks like a lot of them do. Now the real... Oh, Blaine Snyder made it. And Peyton Snyder make aggressive moves to stay out. I don't know if they'll be penalized for that. Might have been a little bit late to avoid pit road there, but we'll have to wait and see. But as we say that, the 12 of Scott McCann, 17 of Rodney Ayers, and more of your front runners hitting pit road. 37 of Martin Roberg as well. And indeed, Jimmy Mensch does come down this time. But once again, A lot of these guys on some split strategies now. Sure, there's only a couple laps of these guys' tires, but we may end up going green the rest of the way. We'll have to wait and see. But from Scott McCann and the 12 on back, fresh tires. And then from the 14 at George Timopoulos all the way up to the front. Just a couple laps on those guys' tires. But Snyder and Snyder once again out front on the restart. Lights are out on the pace car. We're back to green flag racing this time by. Pace car making the hard left onto pit road. That leaves the field in the hands of the 88 of Blaine Snyder. Green flag back in the air. Aaron Lester side by side here for third with Brett Accord in the 15. Still side by side off the corner. Looks like Accord gonna take that spot. Now Scott McCann looks to the outside of Aaron Lester. McCann already halfway up through to the front of the field on those fresh 4 tires. He makes quick work of Brett Accord there in 1 and 2. Already up to third. Elaine Myers back here, side by side with Christopher Perez after that hard impact earlier in this one. He'll jump up to the 8th spot. We'll take a look back up front. Blaine Snyder looking outside of Peyton Snyder. That'll let Scott McCann close up on these two. McCann around the outside of Peyton Snyder there and looks down to the bottom of Blaine Snyder here into turn number 3. Side by side for your race lead. Still Snyder with the advantage off the corner. Snyder clears that time. Brian Hotham side by side here for 6th with Sam Dooley in the 45. Lane Snyder there as well. Lane goes around the outside of Hotham as we have cars in the wall up here. Looks like Scott McCann got a little frisky with the wall there. He falls back to the 3rd spot. Loses a little bit of ground. Peyton Snyder back up to 2nd. But back here, 5th on back. Big time battles here. Whoa, Lane Myers in the wall again. Heavy, heavy impact once again. And that may end his day, unfortunately. Was putting on another really great run through the field. But unfortunately, it's going to come to an end. It's another massive impact with the outside wall. He's going to stop and tow here, I believe. And indeed, we'll take a look back and see what happened here. This is back I believe a lap before. Maybe it was 2 laps before. We'll just wait and see, because we are under yellow. You guys aren't missing anything. We're going to take a look here and see what happened to the 28. It's to the outside there of the 2 car, Christopher Perez. Okay, my replay buttons have failed me. We're a couple laps away from it now, I believe. Here, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. And there it was. Ooh, him in the 13 just made a little contact in the center of the corner. And that just got him loosened up. And unfortunately, a little bit of an overcorrect and nose first into the outside wall. And that will end his day. Looks like a lot of these cars hit pit road once again, though. I believe the whole field here has opted to come in for some fresh tires. Blaine Snyder in the 88, still your race leader. "27 laps to go when we take the green flag." Or 28, excuse me. flag back out. Inside line got a pretty good jump that time by the 88 and the 42 able to clear the 12 of Scott McCann. Martin Roberg now back into the picture, up to 4th. Back up front, Scott McCann looking to the outside. He takes away 2nd there. But Blaine Snyder shuts the door. Now Aaron Lester on the outside of Martin Roberg. Aaron Lester up to 3rd now in the 86 machine. And side by side for your race lead, McCann wants it. Dives it down to the bottom of 1. But Blaine Snyder charges back around the top side and he'll clear the 12 of Scott McCann. Still side by side there for 3rd between Peyton Snyder and Aaron Lester. Now Lester able to clear. Snyder momentarily giving away that top line. Now Martin Roberg looking to the bottom on Peyton Snyder. He is able to clear Martin Roberg up to 4th. Now Scott McCann looks again to the bottom on Blaine Snyder. Side by side through 3 and 4. Ooh, little contact there between the 86 and 42. Martin Roberg almost stuck it in 3 wide there. Not able to do so. But he does clear the 42 of Peyton Snyder once again. This battle from 5th on back heating up. Now we have Roberg and Snyder, or not Snyder, Lester, sorry, side by side for your 3rd place spot. McCann looks again to the bottom on the 88 of Blaine Snyder. Ooh, Peyton Snyder, a little bit of moment there in the center of 3 and 4. He's going to lose wholesale spots there. All the way back to 10th. As we look back up front, still Blaine Snyder showing the way. But Scott McCann not giving up yet. 20 laps to go. Aaron Lesser and Brett Accord side by side for 4th now. Carson Lucas up to 6th now, and looking on Aaron Lesser for 5th. Looks like he'll take away that spot. Carson Lucas in the 81 up to 5th. Tristan Bear now back up here in the top 10 and looking for more. As we look back up front, Martin Roberg gets around the 12 of Scott McCann for second. And he said in chat just a little bit ago that from that earlier wall contact, I believe it was around lap 30, he got 2.5 minutes of damage. I wonder if he got that fixed now, but either way, he's on a charge. Aaron Lester in the background, a little bit of wall contact. Our focus stays up here on the battle for the lead. Martin Roberg on Blaine Snyder side by side through 3 and 4. Neither one given an inch, but Blaine Snyder takes away that lead again. And we have a caution. Ooh, Peyton Snyder in the 42. Heavy, heavy front end damage. He's going to try to get that thing back to pit road. He's already right there, but I wonder if he's going to be able to get to his pit box. Looks like a couple other cars may have been involved as well. Brian Hotham slow, as well as the 86 Aaron Lester. We'll take a look back here and see what happened. Ooh, 42. I'm guessing once again got sideways. Indeed, got a little contact with the wall. Ooh, hard into the wall. He catches the 86, and more goes spinning. 13 of Brian Hotham. Looks like he didn't get much damage out of it, but still going to be probably pretty disappointed with that loss of track position here in this one. Aaron Lester's car surprisingly not looking too bad. Little bit of rear end damage, but he's going to pit regardless. Couple more guys here coming in. Carson Lucas. Ooh, most of your front runners actually coming in here. The only ones to stay out here on this caution are Tristan Bear and Rodney Ayers. With Sam Dooley going to win the race off of pit road, followed by Jimmy Mensch, Blaine Snyder, Scott McCann, or sorry, Martin Roberg, then Scott McCann. And Brett Accord, Carson Lucas, Christopher Perez, Casey Ellis, Christopher Mixon, George Chimopoulos, Brian Hotham, Aaron Lester. It looks like he got it fixed up. Peyton Snyder still on pit road. I'm almost wondering if he had a tow. He has currently scored 1 lap down. But now our attention will be turning up to the front of the field, where Tristan Bear and Rodney Ayers will be restarting this race from the front row on older tires. Third on back came in that time for tires. I believe the 45 and 94 may have taken 2 there. 1 to go signal that time by. That means we're green flag racing next time by. It'll be the 17 of Rodney Ayers and the 05 of Tristan Bear leading the way here in this one. 13 laps to go and we take the green flag. Short little sprint to end this one. And as a reminder, tomorrow night, the Grand National Truck Series will be right here at Legacy Atlanta as well. Then following that on Friday night, the Lightning Series, live on Green Flag TV, will also be here at Legacy Atlanta. A couple of these guys that are able to dip down to the lower divisions, definitely going to have a little better feel on the track. The pace car comes in that time by. And green flag back in the air. A lot of Dyson for position already. Tristan Bear showing the way. He has a 94 Jimmy Mensch to his outside as Mensch gets a little sideways, and they're 3 wide. Heading into turn number 3, Martin Roberg splits the middle. It looks like he may take away the race lead here. And indeed he does. Clears both Jimmy Mensch and Tristan Bear. Blaine Snyder now trying to follow, but doesn't quite have a gap yet. But Martin Roberg up to your race lead. He's the first car on fresh tires. Blaine Snyder looking to the inside of the 05 of Tristan Bear. Everybody's sideways off the corner, and we got contact. The 15 and the 12 into the wall hard. Both of those cars with pretty big impacts, but especially the 12 of Scott McCann. Heavy right front damage. Three wide off the corner. The 15, oh, completely unrelated there. The 15 got turned off the corner. Might have been a little bit of net code there between the 17 and the 15, but the 15 goes around and collects the 12 as well, who makes huge contact with the wall. McCann keeping her going, though. He stays on the lead lap, but he'll definitely have to pit this time for repairs. And I would almost bet money that thing doesn't want to turn left on the pit road. We'll have to see. When he just makes it. I guess I would have lost money there. But the 12 on pit road. McCann takes his fast repair there. But once again, up front. Martin Roberg and Blaine Snyder on fresh tires. I believe a couple more in the back took fresh tires that time by. Drivers get the one to go signal there. Just 8 laps left in this one when we get back going. Martin Roberg gonna be starting this one back up again. Blaine Snyder to his outside. Carson Lucas in the 81, third. Then Jimmy Mensch in fourth in 94. 8 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. Martin Roberg going to lead the charge down into turn number 1. Carson Lucas jumps up to second. Nose to tail, 1, 2, and 3. Lucas looks down to the bottom. Side by side for your race lead into turn number 3. Roberg gonna hold on to the spot for now. 7 laps to go. Snyder looked down to the bottom of the 81, but the 81 threw a block there on the front stretch. But now Snyder looks to the outside. Not able to get the spot there. Now side by side back there for third. The 45 is Sam Dooley and the 88 of Blaine Snyder for third. Still side by side down the front stretch. But as all this is going on, the 81 and the 37 checking out on the field. This time by, drivers get the 5 to go signal. Oh, contact there between the 88 of Blaine Snyder and the 45 of Sam Dooley. We have a yellow. Caution, flag is out. I believe that may have been thrown a little preemptively for that contact between the 45 and 88 there. We'll take a look back at this one. Man, I cannot believe that the 88 of Blaine Snyder held on to that. But that stacked up the whole field. And I would bet that, oh, there was a little bit of netcode in that too. For the folks at home, netcode just being the little bit of differences between each person's computer. And iRacing having to guess that little bit of difference. And sometimes iRacing gets this wrong, which leads to contact that probably shouldn't have been contact. But either way, the 88 ended up sideways. And the caution flag was thrown. But now we will see a green-white checkered finish. Martin Roberg going to be showing the way. Drivers will get the 1 to go signal here. Next time by will be green flag racing with a green-white checker finish. .37 of Martin Roberg. And 81 of Carson Lucas. Side by side when we go back green. Two laps to settle the score in this one at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Martin Roberg, Carson Lucas, Blaine Snyder, Sam Dooley. You pick. We're going to find out. Green flag in the air. Martin Roberg with a good jump there. Blaine Snyder hot on the heels of Martin Roberg. He looks to the inside. Side by side for your race lead. Jimmy Mensch jumps up to third. Ooh, Snyder and Roberg, a little bit of contact and more contact behind them as we have the huge one at Atlanta. Holy, multiple cars involved. Jimmy Mensch, Casey Ellis, and more. Rodney Ayers with damage. Brett Accord with damage. Peyton Snyder, after just getting back on the lead lap, more damage. Sam Dooley with heavy front end damage. We'll take a look back and see what happened in this one. Looks like Mensch might have gotten crossed up there on corner entry. We'll look back again. Ooh, might have been a little contact between the 94 and 81 there. But that just started a chain reaction with multiple cars getting damage in that one. And a lot of them going down pit road. But notable in that, Blaine Snyder able to take away the race lead there. Tristan Bear up to the top 5. Sam Dooley with heavy front end damage, opting to stay out. Heavy front and rear end damage, it looks like. George Timopoulos here on pit road still, as well as the 81 of Carson Lucas and the 42 of Peyton Snyder. But we're getting set to go back to green flag racing here. Caution lights are out on the pace car. Side by side again, double file. Blaine Snyder going to be showing the way back to green in this one. Another green-white checker on the board. And as a reminder, if we get the white flag in this one, checkers will end it. Caution cannot be thrown under the white flag. So it will be a race back to the line, as long as they get the white flag. But Blaine Snyder are going to be showing the way in this one, and he fires off back to the green. As Sam Dooley spins down to the bottom. He's out of harm's way, though, so we will stay green for now. Martin Roberg, though, on the attack after being relegated back to second. And Scott McCann, after getting damaged just a couple laps ago, already back up to third. He's fighting for third here with Tristan Bear, Aaron Lester, and Rodney Ayers. White flag is out, though. Oh, my God. Side by side for your race lead, Martin Roberg, Blaine Snyder. Oh, contact! Snyder goes around. But as all that's going on, Tristan Bear looks down to the bottom, and he'll take away the race lead. Tristan Bear showing the way out of turn number 4. And Tristan Bear is going to win this one. Martin Roberg second. Rodney Ayers, Rodney Ayers third at the line. And Colton in chat called it. Tristan Bear getting his first league win outside of super speedways. After, I don't even know what to say. Heartbreaker, though, for Blaine Snyder. After contact with Martin Roberg, Snyder goes around, and he'll finish this one in 11th. But Tristan Bear, end of the day, is your race winner in the number 05. He's gonna nose her up to the fence and burn it down. But Tristan Bear, your race winner here at Atlanta in the Bolt Racing League Pre-Legend Series. And he burns it down till the motor quits. We'll take a look back here, maybe, at the incident that took place on the last lap. I think that was netcode once again. Roberg was washing up and just made slight contact with the door of the 88, and that sent the 88 around. Yeah, you can see the gap there between the two cars. But Tristan Bear able to squeak by on the bottom and steals that one. Rodney Ayers just barely able to get by McCann for third. But we'll get a quick interview here with your top three. And we'll start with the number 17 of Rodney Ayers, your third place finisher. Hey, Rodney, this is Bobby in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
So, you were running mid-pack most of that race, and just barely at the line, you're able to squeak out third. What do you think of that race overall? And walk us through it.
Yeah, Legacy Atlanta, this is the first time I've ran this track with this car. Definitely, definitely a handful. You're either loose or you're tight or you're both, same corner. It's definitely a mystery what you're going to come across in each corner. But I had Pacey helping me in my ear, spotting, giving me pointers, and he basically told me to baby it around, and we got that last caution, and I pitted, and I didn't feel very confident where we restarted, but there was another caution, and it seemed like it fell into our lap, and restarted 8th on that last caution, or last restart, and I don't know how, but I ended up crossing the line P3. Obviously, because the car's wrecking, but...
Yeah, and I was going to ask about that. What was your thoughts there on the white flag with the contact between the 88 and the 37 there? checking up the 37 and sending the 88 around, did you think you had a shot to get by all of them there for the win?
I haven't seen it myself, but I know this is a really tight track. There's been tight racing all night long. I don't think anything intentional was done. I'm sure you're not assuming that either, but it's just really tight racing track. The bumps will just throw you up into people. Um, I'll have to go back and look at it, and yeah, we'll have to see what happens next week.
All right, before we let you go here tonight, anybody you'd like to thank on that number 17 car?
Yeah, I got to shout out my teammate Tristan. Finally got him a win tonight. Well, on a non-plate track at least. Um, Congratulations to him. Uh, got to shout out Pacey for spotting for me. He helped me through the race. I got to shout out Pacey for putting the series on. He's doing a great job running this series. And I got to shout out my team, my whole team, PBR, and got to shout you out for broadcasting it for us.
Artie? Well, that wraps up our interview here. Thank you for your time, and good luck next week at Rockingham.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good night.
You too. We'll also get a quick word here with your second place finisher, if we can find him. Here, we'll do this way. Okay, I'm trying to make it look cool by having their car up, but clearly I'm struggling. All right, there we go. All right, we're going to get a quick word here with the number 37 of Martin Roberg. Hey, Martin, this is Bobby in the booth. You got a copy.
Yeah, I got you.
Looked like you ran a pretty good race there, but not able to close out the deal. Close racing there on the last lap. Walk us through it.
Yeah, so it was so hard to pass tonight. Like I felt I was definitely better than him. I had 2.5 minutes of damage the first run, and I was on him. Like I really feel like I had the best car. Not that really matters in a green white checkered. Like I sent it in. I got a little tight, but yeah, it just really unfortunate. Like I really hate that happened to him. Like we had some tight moments throughout the race for sure, but overall I had a really fun time battling with him, and he ran a really good race. So really sucks to see he didn't get the finish he deserved, and that I'm partly responsible for it. I feel like it's a racing deal personally, but definitely more on me. But yeah, I feel really bad for it. But at the same time though, P2 is still a really good run. I really wish that caution didn't come out where the 88 got sideways but didn't spin. I feel like that ruined my race, and I don't feel like it was worthy of a caution in all honesty.
Yeah, a lot of speed tonight from your camp. Do you think you'll be able to carry that into next week at Rockingham?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I haven't ran a mile and a half since about March, and it came back to me really quickly. Like I felt really fast tonight. I felt like if I could have just gotten the lead, I would have pulled away. It kind of sucks about this place is restarting P1. It's puts you really vulnerable to P3. So when I saw him lining up P3, I knew I was kind of screwed. But yeah, I think this speed is definitely going to carry on throughout the season. I hope to be up there again. Hopefully finish one spot better, and yeah, I know it was solid racing up there. Like it was a lot of fun. I know that this is considered a developmental series, but the top of the field was really strong tonight. So yeah, definitely fun.
All right. And anybody you'd like to thank that's on board that 37 car tonight?
I'd like to thank my teammates Carson Lucas and Scott McCann. I'm not sure where either of them ended up in all honesty. But yeah, it was good working with them throughout the race. It definitely made some of the situations easier. And yeah, just having them to lean on definitely helped, and just thanks to everyone that put this race together. I may not agree with that one caution, but I know there's a lot that goes into race control and race management and all that. So I don't personally agree with it. I I think that they probably would like to have that one back, but I've also got my own stuff I'd like to have back tonight, so it's part of it. But yeah, thanks to everyone who puts this all together. And yeah, hopefully Rockingham goes a little better, and hopefully tomorrow night, I get one spot better.
Alrighty, thank you for your time, and good luck tomorrow night and next week at Rockingham.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
That was Martin Roberg in the 37 car, your second place finisher tonight. And now, the man of the hour himself, Tristan Bear, your race winner tonight. After that wild move on the last lap to be able to claim the win. We'll get a quick word with him here. Hey, Tristan, this is Bobby in the booth. You got a copy.
Sure do.
So, obviously you had some speed tonight. Were able to come through the field into the top 5 and fight there before the halfway caution. We're able to fight back up front again at the end of this one. Walk us through your race.
Well, the first half was just kind of a test to see how long tires could last under like extreme like pushing it. And I found out, oh, you can probably get a good 20 laps of pushing it before they start to fall off. So I kind of incorporated that to the end. And then I was told by a teammate to go in and take tires with like 10 laps to go. And it worked.
What did you think there at the end with that little bit of contact between the 37 and 88? And did you think in the moment you were going to be able to pull that off?
At the time, I thought I wasn't because I thought they were going to slide back up. So I just ended up just taking the gap and it ended up in my favor. I mean, it sucks for them that they were racing hard all night long, but one little mistake caused them that. But congrats to Martin for, what did he get, second tonight?
Yep.
Perfect. No, and that just in shock that I finally pulled it off.
Yeah, first race win in a league, not on a super speedway. I'm sure you're pretty happy and going to be a big celebration back in the shop. Anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's win?
Yeah, especially the major ones are PBR because they help us with anything. Obviously, you in the booth, Bolt, 213simware.com, Bare Minimum Paints. If you need a paint, that's me. Hit me up. And I probably have to thank Pacey Wygent for helping me clear Rodney.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for your time, and good luck next week at Rockingham. Celebrate this one.
Oh, we'll celebrate hard.
Alrighty, that was Tristan Baird, tonight's race winner in the 05 car. And that'll conclude our presentation of the race tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more of this stuff. We're going to be back here live next week. Tuesday next week, we'll be live with the J&B Modified Touring Series. And then after that, on Wednesday, we'll be back live with the Pre-Legend Series at Rockingham. Thank you guys for tuning in, and peace.
Little things we did, like riding around on our bikes all